Honestly, dude, it feels like we're watching a gaming telenovela in real time. I mean, Valve's Steam Deck is perpetually out of stock and their hardware is MIA. Sony just hit us with a $900 PS5 Pro, and Xbox. You doing okay there, buddy? And throughout this dramatic show, somehow the Switch 2 makes the most sense right now. Which doesn't make sense, because 10 months ago, we were all saying the opposite.
The Switch 2 is the very first console I've ever purchased on day one. It was right here at this exact spot where I met the Walmart lady and got this just horribly the worst photo that I've ever seen of me grabbing on to the Walmart bag with the console in it like it's a Chick-fil-A sandwich. This photo is gonna haunt me for years.
But once the new console smell started to fade away from me, reality quickly set in. Being a day one adopter just sucks. I've just been sitting around waiting for the library to catch up, feeling like a bozo because I spent $80 on a game that's ruining my marriage.
Oh.
At first, it was really hard to recommend the Switch 2 because Gabe Newell is just out here like, it's okay, my son. Here's a AAA game for $3. But in just the last 2 to 3 weeks, the Switch 2 has found itself in this beautiful field of flowers and better games and boost modes and $50 amiibos. And right here sitting in the middle of all of this is a first place trophy that Nintendo currently holds. And it starts with the games. We have finally started to see more options available to people who are actually consuming things on the Switch 2. And notice how I said the word started, because it's not all amazing. I mean, Mario Tennis Fever is $70 somehow. But since March, we have been on a wave of genuinely good releases that justify that price tag. And of course, it all starts with the purple slime. I talked about this in my first video, but there's just so much to do here, so many things to clean, houses to build, Pokemon to find, and stress to maintain and manage, because the Pokemon in this game are picky as hell. I truly believe that we'll look back in the future on Pokopia as the spark that really started things here for this more hated and stagnant generation. But even more than Pokopia, I've actually been really excited to see Resident Evil Requiem on the Switch 2. For so long, if you were a Nintendo fan and owned a Switch as your primary device, you were stuck between, indie games that are low-powered or first-party Nintendo games. These third-party releases weren't even an option for us because we all mained a console that had the same power as a LeapPad. Nintendo fans are no longer just like that younger cousin with an unplugged controller. No, we're genuinely on the starting roster here, and we get to participate in all of the new releases with everybody else. It's crazy. I can bounce between a classic like Pokemon Fire Red and then, launch up a AAA release like Resident Evil Requiem and then go into a modern brand new Pokemon title of Pokopia. Do you see the trifecta here? This is what got me hyped about the Switch 2 in the first place. And these improvements don't just stop at new releases. They also reach back into your Switch 1 library. Thanks to a random update that just came out of nowhere, there is now the critically acclaimed boost mode. This setting tricks your Switch 1 games into thinking that they're hooked up to a TV, even when you're playing handheld on the Switch 2. There is a small battery hit, and the results do vary depending on the game and the settings that they allowed for in TV mode, but this is just a huge, rising tide that lifts all of your Switch 1 games up to a better quality on this thing. This is huge, and it actually blows my mind now that we have this, that it was not a day one priority. Backwards compatibility was so important to a lot of people because the Switch has been out, for 9 years now. So we've all just got this big backlog that we were excited to play on the Switch 2, but then when we actually got the hardware, we quickly realized that it just doesn't really look that good with the Switch 1 games because you have to stretch out the resolution and in a lot of times just enhance a 540p horrible looking Switch 1 game on a bigger screen. It's like if the Wii U played Wii games worse. It doesn't make any sense. And in most cases, if you're a person who wanted to play a lot of Switch 1 games, it kind of made more sense to just like keep a Switch OLED, because that's actually an OLED screen, and then all of the games would look better anyway on the smaller form factor that it's supposed to be on. They just dropped it on a random Monday. It wasn't even like a huge deal for Nintendo. You'd think they would have advertised this more, but it was basically just like a, hey, we released this small little update, and it kind of like revolutionizes all of your backlog, but it's whatever. And we also like added Portuguese and Russian to game chat. For the first time since I unboxed this thing with my grandma, I'm excited about the handheld. The catalog is growing alongside the hardware. The backlog just got enhanced, and to make things even sweeter, the future is starting to please me. There was a massive leak that just happened with Nintendo that essentially just pulled back all of the curtains on whatever the heck they were planning to release in the next year or two. Nothing has been confirmed by Nintendo, but if these leaks are true, I mean, we're talking a brand new Star Fox, Splatoon Raiders coming this summer, Dust Bloods, and probably the most hyped one of all, the Ocarina of Time remake. Then on top of all of this, we get to add on Pokemon Winds and Waves, which looks good. A Pokemon game looks good. And the 3D Mario that hasn't even been announced yet and is supposedly coming out next year. Dude, it's getting completely stacked out here, I'm telling you. And probably the most underrated leak that I don't think anybody else is even excited about, but there is a potential new Switch sports game coming out. Look, I know that this art style is a huge downgrade from the Wii era, and it truly is a tragedy, but I will die on this hill that Switch sports kind of hits.
I bet you can make it to the hole.
I don't think I'm gonna get up. Oh, should I go for it? I feel like if I, no, that guy went out of bounds.
Move more to the right. Move more to the right. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep one more. More. I'm thinking right there.
You gotta hit it straight, dude. You gotta hit. Wait, even more to the right. Even more to the right. Because you're gonna hit that tree. Yeah. You have to hit it so perfectly straight.
Dude, if you get this though, this could set you up for the end. There it is. Corey, this is so important. You don't understand.
Am I OB?
So you don't want to like red shoot. I think a full stroke. You need a 1.5.
I got it.
Leaks aside, there's still so much potential with the hardware here for the Switch 2. If you've been watching this channel for a little bit, you know I'm a huge Battle Network fan, and the Star Force Legacy Collection just dropped for the Switch 1 and Switch 2, so of course, I had to pick it up. For those of you unaware, these are DS games, which is getting like remastered onto the Switch, which doesn't sound like a good idea at first, but that's why I wanted to show this off in the video. There's actually a setting in the game where you can play in this vertical handheld mode where it basically shows both screens on top of each other just like a DS. It's not perfect, and I probably won't ever actually play the game like this because you have to like stand it so straight up because of the kickstand, but I just thought it was really cool, and I wanted to show this off in the video because it just makes my brain think of different ways and ideas to actually utilize the Switch hardware. And I feel like we forget oftentimes how unique and weird and wacky this thing can be with the Joy-Cons, and especially now that they're magnets, I think there's ways to potentially get more experiences out of it. I always bring up those leaks and rumors about the C button and how we used to think that maybe it was a cast button, so we could put the bottom screen on our handheld and then cast the top screen onto our TV, which would have been so sick, and we could have actually gotten 3DS and DS games on this device with this setup, but instead, you know, we just got like the Kroger version of Discord. The Switch 2 has just stumbled into a really good rhythm here. It's honoring the past with boost mode, then handling the present with games like Pokopia and Resident Evil and other third-party releases, and then the future is also looking stacked. Like we're getting everything covered here. And most of this happened in the past month. We've seen this jump in quality so random and sudden. But like always, Nintendo does usually like to slap us with reality and remind us that it's not perfect. even as this YouTube channel grows and I'm able to like write off my purchases as tax expenses, I'm still like mad stressed out whenever I go to buy anything for Nintendo specifically. I mean, I feel like I got to go into like a prayer closet and then speak to God directly and ask if this is a good idea. And Nintendo isn't helping the situation either because they're playing mind games with the price tag. They just announced that physical games and digital games are going to be priced differently now. And they kind of framed this as if it would be a good thing because digital games are going to be $10 cheaper now than the physical version of it. So they used Yoshi as an example. You can buy the digital version for $60, but then the physical version will be $10 more at $70. And while Yoshi isn't hitting $80, I do wonder if in the future, maybe this is their way of routinely charging $80 for bigger releases. So maybe we'll start to see that $80 price tag more often because of this. Spending $80 on a game, man, that's just, it hurts. And then it urges you more to buy the digital, which also hurts. So this is like, I can't see really any positives about this. I also think it's important to not oversell the performance of the Switch 2. Like if you have the option to play on the PC or the PS5, it will be noticeably better. When I was playing Requiem, especially during Leon's part, I noticed a lot of frame dips, and that's not to say I wasn't impressed that we had this thing running on the Switch 2, which I think it's amazing that this title can even play and be very functional on the Switch 2, but given the option, which I had the option to, I just decided to play this on the PS5 version because my brother Alan had it. Pricing and performance, depending on how you look at things, are the biggest hurdles that I could see now for anybody jumping into this generation. But of course, you know, I've got some nitpicks too. Why are there still no themes, bro? It's been 10 months and the freaking UI still bothers the crap out of me, especially the more that I use this thing. Oh, like why? Okay, so the eShop gets to have themes. And you can customize this thing, but not the main UI. It's just a silent void of squares, bro, please. And now that we're on the topic of aesthetics, why do the game cases look terrible? I really think they're scheming to just force all of us to buy digital games because like this is, I mean, DK Bonanza looked pretty good. I really enjoyed that one. But then what's going on with these? Why is there like a Declaration of Independence on the bottom of the front? And then, dude, have you the Mario Wonder cover? Like, what is this? What? The fact that I'm even sitting here though and mostly nitpicking the price, which is kind of, you know, happening everywhere alongside the goofy, horrible UI, I think says a lot more about how far this thing has come. It does feel like it's hitting that standard I had for it way back at the launch. You know, you've got AAA power like Resident Evil running on the handheld right alongside the first-party Nintendo games that you just can't get anywhere else. And then you pair that with actual content-filled releases that are coming more frequently, and then boost mode, which makes the backlog better to burn through. You've got classic releases like Fire Red. Like, it's starting to pile up here for the Switch 2, which is the whole point of what I'm trying to say here. And then you look at the overall like context of everything, and it just, I don't know, how can you not see the, even, I sound like a shill right now, and I kind of am, but like it's, the value's there now. And I really hate the concept of like console wars and this XYZ is better than that. So instead of just comparing everything, I'd rather just really reiterate to you that we are in an era that's obviously more expensive. So now more than ever, it is so important to understand like what it is that you want with your money. Like, where do you value things in gaming? Because it's different for everybody as this industry has evolved into whatever it is now. Are you looking for the open freedom of a Steam Deck? Do you like the raw power and convenience of a home console like the PS5? Or do you value that specific polished portability that only Nintendo can offer here with the Switch 2? For me personally, I just cannot get away from the first-party releases of Nintendo. This is why I've always really stuck by them. It's just, I just love Nintendo games, dude. Which is why, alongside everything else I've talked about today, I have been leaning more towards this thing than ever before. I even got my wife, who's notoriously a Nintendo hater, to snort a little bit of the fun dip of New Horizons and play that a bit. Okay. Oh.
What the hell? Are you serious, dude?
It's truly been wild to witness this, and I'm grateful that I even have the funds to experience the turning point in this newer generation. I'm just happy we're not going down the Wii U route, which was a painful 6 years, but I mean, it is Nintendo, so I wouldn't be too surprised if after I post this video, the price goes up by $200 and then everything becomes a key card because of Pokopia.
I can see the whole future from right where I'm sitting. The ball's main stage in the village still hitting. The odds stay in the game, but I'm still trying to sub it. In my dreams, exhale to more to make a living. Tight funds on my bag, burning cash, not my ammo. Life fun when I rap on a 4-second demo. That's a 4-second memo that they